Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'm going to talk to you about why you shouldn't underestimate Palantir for 2024. There's a lot of chatter that Palantir has run so much this year and it needs to rest and the price is overvalued. Even if you go on, let's say, a Palantir weekly, even us Palantir creators are talking about that the valuation is pretty stretched. And I think that there are a lot of people in the Palantir community who are thinking to sell or trim positions. And I'm going to tell you my honest opinion of if I was in their position, because I don't give financial advice, what I would do. And I'm going to preface it like this, why I wouldn't trim or sell my position in Palantir. So as always, if you like this content, please make sure that you like the video. And let us go. So I want to cover some recent bad news. I just had some notes here and I couldn't read my own writing. It's crazy. So some recent bad news, which is kind of bullish because I have to explain. So before, when the price of Palantir rallied up the first time to $20 up here, it was all hype. There was, good news after good news after, analysts turning bullish on Palantir. Then I'm saying that Palantir is the Messi of the AI, and then it died. But we are at this level, at almost the same level as we were here. And now there is like pessimism, it feels like this is the boring stock. And yesterday there came out news that an analyst called William Blair, William Blair analyst called Louis De Palma rated the stock underperformed because he hears chatter that a 458 million army contract that is set to expire is going to be renewed at a lot less rate. So because of this news, Palantir lost 4 billion from its market cap, and yet the contract is 458 million. And it's not even like this is the full contract, right? It's yearly 115, something like that, a bit less. And basically they are saying that the army is thinking about offering the contract as a 2-year, $116 million contract. So meaning that the original 115 is going to go into half. And on top of it going into half, it's going to be shared between several vendors. So let's assume that Palantir is going to lose 75% of the contract value. And if the total contract value was 150 million, so maybe Palantir loses like 80 million per year. At the rate that we're going, that is about a bit less than 4% hit to Palantir's revenue growth. But here's the kicker. I'm pretty sure that every year they lose some contracts. They are a very big government supplier of software. They have a lot of private customers, the government and the commercial sector. And I'm sure every year they lose customers and every year they get new customers. And I just don't think why this deserves to make the stock go down $4 billion. And I don't see how this is very relevant. And on top of it, I was looking at, okay, what are potential catalysts in 2024 that still hasn't happened, but it's not really being hyped right now. And there are quite a few because, it feels like we have arrived to paradise. The NHS contract is approved. We are eligible for the S&P 500 conclusion. Everybody knows that Palantir is a very prominent AI company. So it feels like we have reached everything and there's nothing left for this stock to give. But we couldn't be further from the truth. So Palantir is still not actually included in the S&P 500. That is still going to come probably in 2024. So it's not a question of if they are ever going to be eligible to be improved. It's more like when are they going to get improved? And that is going to be a huge change in the supply and demand for the stock because a lot of index funds and a lot of big investment firms are going to have to buy Palantir once it's included. So we are eligible now, but we are not yet included. And that is a potential future catalyst. Now I'm going to take a few small ones. For example, FedStart. That is a new product that Palantir has announced fairly recently, and we suspect that it's going very good for Palantir, but we don't have any numbers. And if they would come out with, blowout numbers and, basically confirm that this can be a very big product for Palantir, that is a potential future catalyst for the stock. Although I don't think that it's going to be nearly as big as Foundry or AIP or any other thing like that, but it's still a potential positive catalyst for the stock. Now, what you also have to know about Palantir is they regularly come out with new products. Just since I follow them, they have, and I'm sure I'm forgetting products, they have come out with AIP, which is a very, very new product, by the way. They have come out with Apollo. They have come out with FedStart. And they have come out with, they're working on this, what is it called? This mixed reality headset. That is a new product that they sort of announced. It's not fully out. And I'm sure I'm forgetting it, okay? And some of the products are, they get announced and you don't hear a lot from them, like Apollo. We only know that it has a $1 billion revenue potential, but we haven't heard a lot about it. But some of the products that they announce are spectacular successes straight away, like AIP. AIP is insanely new. I think it was announced in the beginning of this year, and it has completely revolutionized the go-to-market strategy of the company. So I think that in the future, they can come up with a new product that is also a similar hit as AIP. So these were the small catalysts. So now one very big catalyst that I think can happen in 2024, and that is AIP. And as I mentioned, it's a very, very new product for Palantir. And anytime we hear about the product, the news just keeps on getting better and better and better. So what we have seen is that last year in 2022, they had a sales cycle that was counted in the months. And they have taken that sales cycle down to just a few days. And instead of being bottlenecked at scaling because they don't have the forward deploy engineers and it's really, really expensive for Palantir, they completely changed go-to-market strategy. And I believe in November, they have delivered 70 AIP bootcamps. And we don't really have numbers on how these are going. And let me explain. So these 70 AIP bootcamps is more in 1 month that they have done, is more than all the pilots combined in 2022. So they did more in 1 month than they did in all of 2022. The problem is that we don't have, if they have the same conversion rate, do the customers still need to be offered a lengthy pilot to continue using Palantir? And I suspect not, because the revenues are very nicely increasing. But the point is that I'm trying to make is if AIP is really as successful as we think, Palantir could have a major re-acceleration of revenue. So maybe we go back to 30% revenue growth. Maybe we go back to over 30% revenue growth. Who knows? We don't really have data, and that can be still a major, huge catalyst for Palantir in 2024. And I want to show you guys something before you count out Palantir, and I just want to remind you of something. I hope you're a long-term shareholder of Palantir and you were with us on this huge rally. And I want to remind you that what happened is Palantir looked really overvalued at this point. And then the earnings came out. So I believe that there was people who were big YouTubers who were saying you should sell before earnings and you should, buy back after the earnings because we are going to go down and Palantir is overvalued. And then the earnings came out and it was a blowout. And the stock started rallying. So you never had a point to, buy this back. And you even had very prominent YouTubers like Chicken Genius. You had Chris Patel, who completely exited their position. I don't exactly know at what point, but it was somewhere around here because the stock is expensive. And what happened is every time the stock went higher and higher and higher, we received either a speech from Alex Karp, an interview, or we received the new earnings, and new fundamental data came out, which was showing how the current level that Palantir ran up to, which previously seemed very, very expensive, is now cheap. And then the stock started going higher. And it's the same thing that happened at the last earnings. that, you know, people were saying that, yeah, we need to go back down to the 10s and then we will buy again because Palantir is very overvalued, and new data came out, and boy, oh boy, the stock suddenly seemed very cheap at $18. And I'm just saying, be very careful of thinking like this and, you know, trimming the position, because Palantir has every chance of doing this again. They have been doing it all of last year. Anytime when you thought they were overvalued, some new data came out and the stock was suddenly cheap. So this is my opinion about Palantir for 2024. To be fully transparent, I want to tell you that I'm not adding at these prices, but I'm also not selling. The reason why I'm not adding is because I have a very significant part of my the reason why I'm not adding is because I have a very significant part of my portfolio already in Palantir. I basically consider my position built out, and unless there is some crazy market discount on this stock, I don't feel the need to add. But I'm a very, very happy holder for Palantir. So please let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for watching. And if you watched so far, then you're an OG of this channel. I just want to let you know that I'm working on a new Patreon page where I would upload all my stocks that I follow. I'm planning to follow a very few stocks, and I want to go very nerdy on these stocks. And I will upload my valuation model that you will be able to download, my thesis, and it's going to be some cool stuff happening on Patreon. But I want to be very transparent. If you join right now, there's nothing there. So it's basically just you're buying me a coffee, which I very, very much appreciate. And I will, of course, let you know once I'm ready with this stuff. It's in about a month, I think I will start uploading, and there's going to be some value. So in any case, if you feel you got value out of the video, I would really appreciate if you check the Patreon link out. And otherwise, please make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.